we could be alone between city lights. We don't have to hide. I wanna go, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? I can't understand why we can't hold hands, but they don't know what we have is real love. Aren't you sick and tired of having to hide? I know a place, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow?
What's up, you guys? Happy Monday. How are y'all doing today? Hello. Oh, look at that. It's dark in here. It's Monday night. Is it dark where you are? Hear the crickets? I don't think you can hear the crickets. What's up, you guys? Oh, it's good to be here. I'm glad you're here. And let's do some streaming. Yeah, Sky. You haven't seen my new angle, my new camera angle. Hello, Sky. This looks like it might be flat color. Doesn't it look a little light shadow? It's still daylight in Oregon, says wrong way. Not for long. Daylight saving time is coming. Daylight saving time is coming. Ugh. Can we not do that? Can we not do daylight saving? Can we all agree that that was a dumb idea? Oh, I don't like driving to work in the dark. No one cares. I work out of my house. I don't care. I guess when I say no one cares, I mean I don't care. That's usually what people mean when they say no one cares. You know what I don't like is it being like 5 p.m. and it's dark out. How about that? You know, a little bit of here, a little bit of there. Arizona, that's true. Daylight saving. Arizona doesn't do daylight saving. Daylight saving literally kills people, says Alexander Romanenko. He's right. That day when the clocks spring forward and everybody in the whole country gets 1 hour less sleep, like more car accidents, etc. It's not for the farmers, M Smooth FPV. It's not for the farmers. As who was it who said this? It was somebody at the race this weekend. He said the cows don't know that you changed the clock. The cows need to be milked at the same time every day, whether the clock changes or not. Anyway. T. Simon, it's 11 a.m. where you are. Where are you, T. Simon, where it's 11 a.m.? How do you find races in New York? Asks Jared TG723. I mean, surely there are multi-GP chapters in New York. Go to multigp.com and find a chapter. That's what I would say. That's what we're going to do today. If you're new here, that's what we do here. Ooh, that's good. I just came up with that. If you're new here, that's what we do here. Answering questions. We answer questions. Thank you for everyone who's here at 2 a.m. in Germany. You got to do what you got to do. Okay. Bye-bye, bug. We answer questions. Check it out. This is, oh, gracious. There we go. This is my main screen right here. I'll be taking your questions here in the chat. Taking a lot of questions. I'm doing Wendell's voice from Key and Peele. A lot of questions from women. People asking me a lot of questions of a... If you know that character, that's my impression of him. I'll be taking your questions right here. Is it just me, or is watching JP Live way better than watching the recording? Hell yeah, MSH. You're damn right. And over here are the patrons in the Discord. Hello, patrons. Thank you so much for being in my Discord and being my patrons. And if you want to join them, you can join my Patreon. Link in the video description for as little as $2 a month. And right here, there's some beautiful people who left some super chats for me to get to. Hit that $sign right down here if you want to get your question called out to make sure that I get to it, probably. I have one piece of news. I will be... Hi, Monday night viewers. Are you tired of not getting the news? Yeah, because I do all the news on Sunday, and then I don't feel like doing it again on Monday because, like, nothing's happened. Well, I'm going to be moving the news to its own segment, its own, like, on the channel, not on the live stream. I just kind of started doing it on the live stream as a way of, I don't know. But people like it. I think I'm going to turn it into its oown show. But I do have one piece of news that I need to get to. I want to let you guys know about this race. It is an online, it is a simulator race. RFX FPV, first annual DCL solo race. So it will be in the DCL simulator. And you can race and win actual prizes. Top 3 Xbox, top 3 PS4, and top 5 PC. So you can compete on multiple platforms and theoretically have more chances of winning if you own like an Xbox and a PC. Interesting. I don't see why they would not do that. Eddie Nunez, I guess you can hear the crickets, huh? I guess the mic is picking up the crickets. I do have the window open tonight because it is a beautiful, cool night, and I just could not bear to close myself up. If my neighbors start shooting guns and fireworks, then I'll close the window. So, yeah, this race, I'll give you the website to the race in just a second. Starts October 19th. Holy crap, that's today. Good thing I got the word out. Prizes. Foxier apparel. Yeah, apparel. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Oh, honey. Oh, honey, you're never going to guess what I won today in a giveaway. No, it's not a car. No, not a year's supply of yogurt. I won a t-shirt. Not just, well, actually, it's a vendor t-shirt. Basically, I'm going to be advertising for someone else for free. But on the other hand, it's a free shirt. I have no room to talk. Like, all of my t-shirts are from Quadbox. But they're not like brand t-shirts. I don't... Once upon a time, I probably shouldn't tell this story. Once upon a time at an event, a vendor gave me a t-shirt. And then they kind of looked at me like, are you going to put it on? And I was like, Like right here, you just want me to take my clothes off and put your shirt on. I mean, I don't really, I got a lot. I don't really need another t-shirt. I'm certainly not going to like just rip my clothes off and, oh my goodness, a t-shirt from you? Oh yes. Let me, oh, I can't believe it. So, oh, but there's a lot of stuff. Anyway, what you can do is you can go to the here, RFX FPV. What did it cost you? You probably already own a simulator. Do you already own this simulator? No. I don't know if you own this simulator or not, but anyway. Now I've done it. Now I've fulfilled my obligation. To do that. Dylan Colasa, you have a great eye, my friend. Dylan Colasa says, "Are you building a computer? I'm pretty sure I see Corsair memory on your desk." Well, Dylan, it is actually Kingston. Kingston? Is it, no, Corsair. Is it Vengeance? Is Corsair, right? You are correct. It is Corsair memory. I am not building a computer, but I was having issues with this computer where Premiere didn't seem to want to use. I wasn't sure it was using the second stick of RAM. So I was like, you know what? Instead of having two 16 gig stick or 16 gig sticks, I just bought two 32 gig sticks because I was like, I just want to be sure that I'm using all, because Premiere was like doing this weird thing where it would like freeze up briefly, and I was watching the memory allocation while it would do it, and it would be like and the memory would go up and down. I was like, would Premiere be faster if I gave it more memory? Because it was so frustrating. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be on this camera. Every time I hit spacebar to play the timeline, there would be this long pause, and I would look right here in the memory utilization, and it would go down and up. And I would be like, what are you doing? You have so much memory. Just use more of it. It had 32 gig, and it was using like 16 gig. Just use it all. And it wouldn't do it. So I was like, fine, I'm just buying more memory. It still uses the same amount. It's the same amount of memory. It doesn't use any more memory. So I basically just wasted like $300 buying 64 gig of memory. What are you gonna do? Cool story, bro. Cutback 420. I did run memtester 86. It passed all the memory tests. I was pretty sure the memory was fine, but I just thought maybe there's something wrong with Windows, where even though like the BIOS can access the memory, Windows doesn't want it, because it was like right at 16, 17 gig. I was like, huh, is it just not using the second stick? Anyway. Tiago Ramos, Windows needs the software to run in a special mode to use more memory. How much memory can it use? I know, Pat Clevenger, that you can change the amount of memory that Adobe reserves. I already did that. Anyway. Like, I have 64 gig. How do I make Premiere use all my RAM? Because let me tell you something. When you're editing, this was like, I think I don't remember the video. It was like an hour-long video. So it was using a shitload of memory, and it kept, I think it was paging out. I think it was paging out to disk or something. And so every time I went, I would do an edit, and I would hit spacebar to play, and it would pause for like 3 seconds, and then it would play. And I'd do an edit and hit spacebar to play. Pause. It was infuriating. And that's why I just blew $300 on 64 gig of RAM for no freaking reason. If anybody wants to help me, let's not talk about it anymore on the live stream. But I think that's enough. Anyway, cool story, bro. Let's see what we've talked about today. Memory. Anyway, so I got this memory. Anybody needs any memory? Just, I mean, I don't think I have a use for it. So if you want some old, it's like 2400 megahertz. It's not fast memory. If you need to build a computer and you need a stick of RAM, hit me up. I will mail you a stick of RAM. The giveaway on this stream is a 16 gig stick of RAM to 2 winners. Let's, my disk is super fast. I have like 3 different SSDs split. Yeah. Anyway. All right, but let's not spend the whole live stream troubleshooting my computer issue. I'm here to help you. So, let's take some questions. Oh, it was anger. I was angry. I was so angry at my computer for being so frustrating. And I just was like, I shouldn't do this. This is not going to work. I was just like, damn it. I'm doing it. Oh. Let's talk about it after the stream sometime, guys. I appreciate the questions, but okay. So we're going to take questions, and I'm going to take some more questions out of the regular chat now that I've ranted for 15 minutes. And then I'm going to get some of these super chats. I know you guys are sending tons of super chats. I will, I shouldn't have to try proxies, Luke 5500. It's only 1080. It's 1080. It's freaking 1080 video. I have a freaking i7 5 gigahertz 64 gig of RAM. I have 3 different SSDs. I should not have to use proxies to edit 1080. Here's the thing. Here's the kicker. Here's the kicker, guys. It was only like 1 clip on the timeline, maybe 2 clips. So it isn't even like I had 57 clips in it, but it was like an hour-long video, and that something to do with it. Anyway. All right. Let's answer questions. Jack's Wild. I'm converting my Alien 6 to a long-range drone. Would you recommend for a motor on 6S? Here's the problem, Jack's Wild. On 6S, there's relatively few choices of KV. If you were going with 4S, you could say, I'm going to get an 1800 kV motor, run it on 4S. That's a super low kV, but it's a 6-inch prop, and it's going to be really efficient. You could have your choice of anywhere from 1600 kV all the way up to like 2500 kV, depending on what you want, if you're running 4S. But if you're running 6S, you're going to start at like a 1700 kV motor, and that's already going to be like a 5-inch RPM. So then where are you going to go from there? You can't really, once you get below about 1700 kV, your choices in motors are much more limited. So there are some motors specifically for larger long-range builds, like the T-Motor F90. That's designed for 7-inch props, not 6-inch. It's a big, beefy 1300 kV motor. I'm not suggesting that one. I'm just saying I would be looking at motors in like the 2407 to 2208 and up size. And if you can, I'd be shooting for like 1500 kV if you're going for long distance. But probably what I would really do is there's gobs of like 2208s and 2407s, and I would probably get the lowest KV of a good 2208 or 2407-ish motor. And then if I wanted longer flight times, I would just use a throttle scale to bring the RPMs down, and you probably are going to get okay results there. If anybody has a great suggestion, like Big Data Pimp is suggesting the Zing 2812 900 kV. 900 kV feels pretty low, Big Data Pimp. Like I have the T-Motor F90 is 1300 kV for 6S, I think. So a 2812 900 kV feels really low for 6-inch to me. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Still feels really low for 6-inch on 6S. Maybe the 1100 kV, maybe the 1100 kV. Even that feels a little low, but it probably would fly. I mean, let's look at that motor. The Zing 2812. Brother Hobby Avenger 2812. I'm seeing the Avenger 2812. Are you sure that's not the one you meant? Maybe you meant the Brother Hobby. Brother Hobby Avenger 2812. That's a big freaking motor. Do you really need that for a 6-inch? That's a big freaking motor. I don't know, man. 2808. That's a little smaller. Oh, yeah, I like the sound of that Mustang Pilot. Brother Hubby 2808, 1500 kV. That feels more like a 6-inch 6S prop to me, or motor to me. Yes, I'm liking the feel. I'm liking the sound of this one. It's still a big motor, maybe bigger than you need for 6-inch, but at a low kV, you're going to get good efficiency. Sebastian Gramano, I feel like your advice is actually good advice. Sebastian says move to 7-inch and get a 2806.5 1300 kV. Yeah, I think that 6-inch is in this weird middle ground where it's okay for freestyling and it's kind of not the best for long range. And if you really want to build a cruiser, going to 7-inch is actually maybe the better way to go. So those are some thoughts about motors. Yaqub Al Nassim says, I have a Tyrannus QX7 with an XM Plus receiver. I tried flashing connections, all good. Flashing options are external, internal module, and S-port. What should I do? Yaqub, if you are trying to flash the receiver, you need to plug the receiver into the servo plug on the bottom of the QX7. Hang on. So here on the bottom of the QX7, like right over here, you're going to need to plug in a servo plug and wire it up. And here's why the XM Plus drives me crazy, because the XM Plus doesn't have a plug. It's direct soldered. So I'm not sure that like the best way to handle flashing an XM Plus. I mean, do you solder wires onto a servo plug? Yeah, so like right here, you can see here's the servo plug. It goes like right in here. And you flash with flash S-port. If you're flashing the receiver plugged into this port on the bottom, it's flash S-port. So Fasty FPV says, I'm new to Fat Shark modules. I have an Achilles, and I don't find many info about this special Kerberos mode. Does anybody have information in what situation this mode is good? The Kerberos mode, I don't even remember. Is Kerberos where it's like it's not directly on the channel? So like if the channel is nominally 5800 megahertz, but the VTX drifts a little bit, which VTXs sometimes drift as they heat up. I think that the Kerberos mode continually like scans to try and like find the best frequency. I'm not sure about that. It's been a while. You should basically, I think you should always use Kerberos mode. I always did when I had an Achilles. Hang on. People in my Discord are still talking about my memory problem, trying to troubleshoot it. I have 64, no, Ghost Branch, I have 232s. I mean, 232 gig, well, whatever. I wanted it to be, see, my problem was I was concerned that it wasn't using the memory slots correctly. So I wanted a 32 gig single stick. So I was sure it was using, yeah, the whole stick. I'm in the second and fourth RAM slots too in Ledley, although I did try the first and third. It was definitely freeing and then allocating memory, Star Jumper. Thank you, Ghost Branch, for the offer to help. Let's see. Sam Klug wants to know if there is a recommended controller that's compatible with Spectrum receivers. Sam has the Spectrum DX6i, but it broke, and it doesn't have money to replace it. So he's got all these Spectrum receivers. I mean, the DX6 is an expensive radio, but like we've got all these radios right now with multi-protocol modules in them. So why not get one of them? It could be the Radio Master. It could be any of these radios with a multi-protocol module, and it will bind to your Spectrum. Rain Dog says I should mix my old RAM into the other lanes. I mean, if I have two 16 gig and two 32 gig, first of all, that's more RAM than anybody freaking needs, but that's what I want to see, Ghost Branch. All right, let's read some super chats. And get those knocked out. Matthew Blows, thank you. Matthew Blows, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing your name, Matthew. Sorry about that. Thanks for $2 Australian. A Day at the Range, thanks for $5. How's it going, dude? Daniel Carroll, thanks for $5. Can you recommend a part list for an insanely fast build? Heck yeah. Yep, I sure can. I got just the build for you, my friend. This is the one. This quad does not, it goes 99 miles an hour, because if it goes 100 miles an hour, then that's illegal for if you have a 107. But some people say this quad goes 160 miles an hour. Is that good enough for you, man? Daniel Carroll, there you go, buddy. That is the one you want. Good luck. Good luck building it and keeping it from lighting itself on fire. There you go, though. That is the one. Ikookman Ice, thanks for $5 Canadian. Dylan Colassa, thanks for $5. Are you building or upgrading a computer? Oh, that was the question way back when. Skyfo, thank you for $5. Chris Cameo, thank you for $20. Very generous, Chris. Thank you so much. Sincere thanks for everything you've done to help the hobby and make getting into FPV more accessible. Thank you for your donation, Chris. Craig Shell, thanks for a $15 donation. Thanks for your help today. I'm buying a new ESC for my Mark IV HD. What stack would you choose instead of just replacing the ESC? I mean, Craig, I hope soon to be able to tell you that the JBF7 is the one I would suggest, but it's not available yet. I have a ton of recommendations over at fpvknowitall.com, which is my website. We just actually updated. Oh, that's zoomed in, huh? We just updated the front page. Thank you so much to David Wallace, who is the guy who did this work for me. He has a lot of skills. This is apparently one of them. Who knew? But if we go to flight controller, ESC motors and props, and flight controllers, I have some suggested flight. Don't get the JBF4. The JBF7 is very, very close. The JBF4, it's cheaper, so it's not. I mean, the F7 is going to be a little more expensive, but I probably wouldn't push you towards the JBF4 today. The other thing about the JBF4 is, like, just about everybody's using 4-in-1s these days, and so the AIO style flight controller is not as desirable as it was. So there's some suggestions here. I'm really impressed with this Diatone. The Diatone F722, built-in Bluetooth. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. I could just pull out my smartphone and configure it with SpeedyBee without ever freaking plugging in. Yes, sir. His name, yes. Everyone's making the jokes about The Office now. So David Wallace is this guy's name. He has the same name as a character on The Office, and I have never mentioned it because I am sure he gets it all the freaking time, and I'm sure he's sick of it. So. Mouse Rat in the Discord is looking for a recommendation. TX16S. The quad is his 5-inch with an XM Plus. Radio's been fine-tuned to each quad. Mouse Rat, first of all, I don't think you need to fine-tune to each receiver. I don't think. Like, if you fine-tune for one FreeSky receiver, you should be okay for the others. You definitely do not need to fine-tune the SPI-based receivers in Tiny Whoop, because they fine-tune themselves. That's what I've been told. I don't know how I would confirm that, but that's what I've been told. So if you have a Tiny Whoop with an SPI-based receiver, you do not need to do frequency fine-tune. It fine-tunes itself. And if you have a FreeSky receiver like an XM Plus, what I'm told is that they are all calibrated from the factory. So once you fine-tune to one of them, that should be right for all of them. You're fine-tuning your multi-protocol module to the receiver. Once you do that, it's done. So for the record, you shouldn't need to fine-tune to each individual quad. I'm looking to never fail-safe within video range again. Well, Crossfire is probably the way to go for that. You can fail-safe Crossfire, but it is the most fail-safe resistant protocol available today. What about Immersion RC Ghost? Immersion RC Ghost is very good. It has the potential to rival Crossfire, at least for typical users. If you're going 80 miles, no. But Ghost is so new, like already, like they're little bug here. Oh, we fixed it. Oh, there's a little bug over here. Oh, we fixed it. Right? We're still in that period where the product is brand new and little bugs are being found. So I feel like it's safe to say, as of today, Crossfire is still a more mature and reliable technology, and Ghost has the potential to be there, you know, just once all those little things are shaken out. So yeah, Crossfire. That's the answer. The goggles I don't want to fly are the O2X. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing to get, obviously. What about the new FlySky long range that uses the LoRa chipset? Nunya Business asks. So, excuse me. How rude. So FlySky has a long range LoRa module, and you haven't heard me talk about it much. And the reason for that is that the people I talk to say, people who have bought it and use it, they say that the software support for it could be better. And when you look at what Immersion RC has done, if you go over to the Immersion RC Hub Facebook group, somebody says, I just bought Ghost and I've got this. Nope, we fixed that. They are so responsive. They're releasing firmware updates like crazy. They're fixing, in any new product, there are going to be little bugs, and they're just fixing them, and they're so responsive. And I feel great about recommending that product. And then the people who've bought the FlySky product, not the FreeSky, the FlySky. Is it FreeSky or FlySky? The FlySky, yeah. The people who bought the FlySky are like, well, we're still waiting for this firmware fix, and there's still this problem. So it's like, I don't know. What's the price difference for the FlySky? What's the price difference? Let's find out. FlySky 2.4 gigahertz, the FRM 302. That's what it is. It's the FRM 302. Banggood FRM 302 costs $100, $95. That's for the module only, not a receiver. For real? Okay, that's not actually that great. Because look, like I'm sure I'm missing something. What's the motivation? Immersion RC Ghost module with 3 receivers, $150. FlySky, $95. Immersion RC Ghost, great support, very responsive. FlySky, yeah, you know. So yeah, what's the motivation? What's the motivation? That's the question. So then that's why you don't hear me. It's like, well, why don't you test it? Yeah, there's only so many hours in the day. I don't find it compelling. I just don't find it compelling. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I think that the when I look at my schedule and I say, which products am I going to work on today? There's so many products that I could make there's too many. And so I got to, something's going to make the cut and something isn't. So. Okay. Let's see. I got to finish these super chats, guys. Let me get some more of these super chats out of the way. Pat Clevenger, thanks for $2 super chat. Can a gyro get lazy or fail? How do you know? Pat, a gyro can fail over time. Every time you crash the quad, you subject the gyro chip to shock, and that shock can accumulate over time and damage the gyro. How do you know if you have a bad gyro? The number one way you'll know you have a bad gyro is you take off and you're hovering, and then the quad is just going like tick, 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 tick in a hover. That's why. That's the most common indicator of a bad gyro. Yep. Spawny, thank you for 10 euros. Here's some money for your next 64 gig stick. It's Blunty says the Fly Sky is 1 watt. Okay. If that's true, that's kind of a big deal. Is that true? Does it actually put out 1 watt? Hang on, I'm looking. Where's the output power? I can't find a reference for the output power. Transmission power, 30 dBm. I can't find it, man. Let's see. Where's the specs? Hello. $30 dBm. Well, it says transmission power less than 30 dBm. I mean, technically, 1 milliwatt is less than 30 dBm. If it does 1 watt, that's a big deal. That's compelling right there. That's compelling because the Ghost only does 350 milliwatts, and more power will get you further. However, I can't help but be reminded of the video transmitters. And on one hand, let's say you've got a TBS Unify, which is arguably the best video transmitter you can get. Certainly tied for best, if not the best. And maybe it outputs 800 milliwatts. But it's good. It's well built. It's got great. It outputs 800 milliwatts, etc. And then on the other hand, you've got some no-name video transmitter that's like, hey, everybody, we output 3 watts. Ha! And they're just trying to make up in raw numbers what they lack in other characteristics. So pure output power alone, yeah, that's not. It is compelling. The person who I guess it would be drawn to the FRM 302 module is a person who needs the long range. Think about it. You get more range per milliwatt with LoRa. So what's the update frequency? Yeah. Because with Ghost, you can go 350 milliwatts, 222 hertz, low update, low latency mode. I don't know what the latency of the FRM 302 is. That's the thing. The more that I learn about how receivers work, the more I see there's more to it than just like look at FreeSky R9. FreeSky R9 versus Crossfire. Just set aside all the issues with firmware updates and how annoying they are. Like FreeSky R9, the packet timing is very inconsistent. You'll get skips and it messes up feed forward and it makes your motors kind of junky. I just feel better about Ghost as a product, and I think it's going to be good for most people. Okay. Ikukman Ice, thanks for a $5 Canadian dollars. ISO in search of a VTX that has live audio for freestyle and racing. Love the Unify Pro 32 HV, but I keep killing them, and they're too big in the switchback. You need a 20 millimeter. Damn, dude, that's a tough one. Okay, chat, help me out. Help me out. Skidoo says FlySky also has super low latency. The question is it consistent, though? Are they dropping packets or are they staying consistent? That's the big question. I'm asking. I'm not saying they don't. I'm saying there's more to it than raw output power. That's all. What is a 20 millimeter VTX with a microphone on board? Does the Rush Tank Micro have it? I don't know about that. Let's find out. Rush Tank Ultimate 20 millimeter. Rush Tank Mini. I like this VTX a lot. It is a 20 millimeter, 800 milliwatt VTX. That's pretty freaking slick. You don't see a lot. There's not a lot of the... Oh, that's not a newer version. That's the same product. Oh, come on, Luminaire. Does it have a microphone? I don't think it does. Now, you can always install you can always install a microphone aftermarket if the, yeah. So if you decide that you want to add an aftermarket microphone, you can put this guy in. This is a great little microphone, and you can wire it up to the audio input. Tramp Nano. Ken Hill says Tramp Nano. Does Tramp Nano have a microphone? I would be surprised if it did. It's so small. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it has an add-on. Anything can take an add-on mic. Well, he wants one with a built-in mic. I can't think of a 20 millimeter with a built-in mic, but you could always add a microphone aftermarket. 661 FPV. I do agree. iBus is better than S-Bus. I do agree about that. Let's see here. Anthony Short, thank you for... Oh, hang on. Anthony Short, thank you for a $10 super chat. Why are DJI and Vista out of stock everywhere? Because people bought them, all the ones that they could make, and then they didn't make anymore. I assume that there's a supply issue or something. I know everything's always out of stock everywhere. The big question that everybody's asking is, does it mean that a new product is coming? I have no idea about that. Would smart audio still work with the add-on microphone? Asks, who asked that? Ikukman. So Ikukman, if the question is whether you have a separate audio and data input, and usually these days you do. So do you see that on this VTX? Here's the audio input. That's for the microphone. Here's the smart audio input. That's for remote control. So they will not conflict and they will work at the same time. Vishera, thanks for a $5 super chat. Thanks for helping with the receiver. I lost my flashing cable and I just decided to go with a different receiver anyway. Still can't get my receiver to show in beta flight. I'm working with Vishera over on my Discord server trying to get his receiver sorted out. His or, I guess, her. I don't really know. Sorry, didn't mean to gender you, Vishera. A day at the range just throwing $2 or $3 at me and says the super chats will never end. Hey man, for $2 a pop, you keep them coming, my friend. Russ, thank you for a $5 super chat. I got a RunCam Split 4K. It'll let you set the ISO to 400, 800, 1600, 3200. What's the correct ISO to set? Russ, in general, you want to set the ISO as low as you can. So I would set it to 400 in that case. A lower ISO will give you more motion blur and a better looking image. Now, in theory, if you were in a very dark environment, you would need to open up the ISO to get more light into the camera. But practically speaking, that we seldom, most people seldom fly in dark enough conditions to need to open up the ISO past ISO 400. At least that's my experience with GoPros. So I run my GoPros at 400 ISO almost all the time. And the reason I do that is that I read somewhere that the native ISO for the GoPro sensor is 400. And the sensor has the best dynamic range when it's run at its native ISO. So I'll typically run ISO 400 and then have an ND4, an ND8, or an ND16, seldom an ND32. If, as MK points out, if you turn up the ISO, number one, you get faster shutter speed and less motion blur, which is the exact thing you're using ND filters to try not to let that happen. So for every stop of ISO you open up, you need one more ND filter, so you're kind of working at cross purposes to yourself. But also going to higher ISO means more noise, more image noise. So I would run at ISO 400, and then I would put an ND filter on to get the amount of motion blur that I want. Flap around FPV, thanks for $5. How many goggles DJI has sold? How many goggles has DJI sold to us? I have no idea. I couldn't even guess. And Marley Lepos here. Thank you, Marley, for 20 Norwegian kroner. Marley says, "What's up, everybody?" T. Simon in the Discord asks, Has anyone fail-safed to GPS rescue? I'm thinking about testing it. Here's how you need, if you want to test GPS rescue, here's how to test it. Get ready. Arm the quad, take off, fly 200 meters away, land. Don't disarm, just land. Then fail-safe the quad. One of two things will happen. Either the quad will take off and try to fly home, or the quad will sit there and disarm. If the quad takes off and tries to fly home, congratulations, GPS rescue is working. If the quad sits there and disarms, you would have crashed it. But you didn't, because you took my advice. I didn't make that up. Someone, I don't even remember where I saw it. Recently, like in this week, someone said, here's how you should test GPS rescue. And I was like, that is really smart, and I'm going to totally steal that. An Apple people said, do you know when your Xylo 5 build it yourself kit will be back in stock on GetFPV? I don't. GetFPV made this RTF kit. They made this RTF kit. So I've got this kit, this build it yourself kit with the instructions. And they were like, well, you know, let's make it pre-built and sell it for $50 more. It's like, okay. And that's fine, but... Oh, look. The pre-build is in stock. The pre-build is in stock. Uh-huh. The DIY kit's not in stock. Well, I mean, I kind of wanted people to build it themselves. So I think what happened is they took all the parts and they built them into pre-builds. So they built them. And now they want to charge you $50 more to buy it. There you go. That's what happened. I don't know when it'll be in stock. The pre-build's in stock. Johnny J says the Rush Tank Plus VTX has built-in mic, but Johnny J, he was looking for a 20 millimeter form factor. I don't think that's a 20 millimeter. Oh. What is not on my FPV Know-It-All webpage? Nick Sebring. What are you asking about, Nick? What's not on my webpage? Nick wants to know why something isn't on my webpage. John M. is building my kit, but he's using Crossfire instead of FreeSky and doesn't know where to mount the Crossfire Nano RX. No problem. The flight controller you're working with is this one, the Xylo Stax. And I think my dog is outside. Huh. Keep hearing something at my window. This is how I get murdered by a serial killer on stream. I'm like, what's that outside my window? Oh well, that's nothing. Back to doing what I was doing. So here's the underside of the flight controller. This is where you put the Crossfire receiver. Notice that these pads are ground 5-volt RX3 and TX3. These 4 pads are intended for the Crossfire receiver. In fact, you actually can direct solder it to these holes with pins. I would suggest you just use a short length of wire and like stick it here with double-sided tape. And that's what you're going to do. Nick Sebring wants to know why something is not on my FPV Know-It-All page. The Xylo build kit. Nick. Oh, Nick. I just updated my webpage, Nick. The real reason it wasn't on there is because it takes me forever to update my website. But look. Right here on the very front page of fpvknowitall.com is the budget build kit. So if you had asked that question 2 days ago, I wouldn't have had a good answer for you. But today I do. Okay. Rain Dog wants to know, how do you feel about the Starlight sensor cameras? The Starlight sensor cameras, there's two kinds of quote-unquote Starlight cameras. One is the true, like, Starlight cameras that you can literally use in the dark of night. And they are unusable in the day because they have, like, they're super IR sensitive, or, yeah, IR sensitive. And so basically they just white out during the day. I don't like those. There are other cameras that are referred to as Starlight cameras that are very sensitive, but you can't literally, like, fly in a moonless night. You could fly on, like, with the moon out. Those are fine. The Runcam Eagle was a very, very sensitive camera, and I liked it a lot. So it's pretty fun when you're flying and you take your goggles off and suddenly you realize it's dark. But when you put your goggles on, the camera's just like, pow! Yeah. You could always put a light or an infrared emitter on the quad. It's true. That is an option. Tyler Harris is unhappy with the Flea 14 Plus. That's a shame, man. The Flea 14 Plus has been my go-to for FlySky receivers for a long time. And I haven't heard any bad things about them. You might have a damaged one, but overall, I think the Flea 14 Plus is a good one. Yeah, Rain Dog, the Owl is the true night vision camera that I was thinking of. I don't think the Owl is really usable in the daytime, if it's the one I'm thinking of. Let's see here. You're right, 88 Ender 88. Backpacks are not on the Know-It-All website. The main reason is I just kind of don't know where to put them. I don't want to make a whole new page just for backpacks. So, but yeah, I agree. It's on my to-do list. Toxic FPV says the HDLRC Forward MT has a built-in mic, is 20 by 20, and does 600 milliwatts. Let's see here. We may have found our white whale. HDLRC Forward MT. It's a 30 by 30. Damn it. So close. So we must be thinking of a different one. There's the 20 by 20 version. Dominic Clifton says, I'm so professional. What did I do that was professional, Dominic? He's so super impressed. Let's see here. Does this have a microphone? It does. Damn. There we go. I sound like Steel there for a minute. Damn. He always says that. There it is. This is the one. This is the white whale. It's whoever was asking about it has moved on with his life. He's not watching the stream anymore. The HDLRC Forward. It is a 20 by 20 video transmitter with built-in microphone and 600 milliwatts of output power. Who knows if it's going to last more than a day, but it does, and it's $25. So that was a stingy dam, Ryan. I can't really do a steel dam. Thank you, Dominic. Dominic Clifton. I feel like a compliment from you has a lot of. That's very meaningful. It's thank you. I have my moments. Yeah, $25. I don't need to. Okay, let's take a straw poll. Hang on, I'm gonna put a straw poll in the chat. Let's do a straw poll. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Create poll. Okay. Here is the straw poll that we are going to... I'm going to throw this out. I'm pasting the link to the straw poll in the chat. And you guys go and vote on this poll, and in like 5 minutes, I'll go check the results. Let's see. We get results. It's coming in. Oh, I don't want to vote. I just want to look at the results. All right, we'll check back in there. Yeah, okay. So go ahead and answer that, and we'll check back in a little bit. Oh, I can watch it in real time. No, you have to pick. There's no There's no like maybe. I'll give you 3 options. Can I modify it? I don't think I can modify it. I don't think I can modify it once it's posted. That's all the information you're going to get. Copter 612 wants me to weigh in on the BL M developments. Yeah, so I have on my schedule for this week a video about BL M, although to be honest with you, I feel like it's Blunty did. So normally I will not decline to do a video just because someone else did it. If I feel like I have something to say about a topic, then I'll do the video, because people come to my channel, they want to watch my voice, you know. But Blunty did such a damn good job covering BLHeli-M and the history of RPM filtering in BLHeli that I kind of like looked at his video and went, I don't really feel like I could do any better than that. So I don't know. I may find some way to talk about BLHeli-M, but he did a damn good job summarizing everything. BLHeli-M is the new version of BLHeli-S that supports RPM filtering. Let's see. 121 votes on the straw poll. I'm going to throw that link out if you want to vote. Oh, very interesting. Will an X9 Lite work with FreeSky R9? I don't see why not, USS Ranger. You would need the Lite module, not the JR module, but yeah, I don't see why not. A few more votes coming in on the straw poll. Ben Thornton says, I haven't, thank you for a $10 super chat, Ben. I haven't flown an HGLRC, but I've seen positive results from others. Private Island FPV, thank you for $5 Canadian, suggesting the Atlatl HV Micro as a 20 millimeter VTX with a microphone built in. All right, here's the results for the straw poll. Are you ready for it? USS Ranger, the X9 Lite is a access radio, but that doesn't affect what receiver module, what R9 module you can use. You can use, the R9 module is independent of the radio. So HGLRC, yes. Who? And never again. The yeses and the who's definitely take it. So it seems like the majority of people feel that HGLRC is yes. I always am curious about this. There are some people who have had a bad experience with maybe dead hardware, but I also feel like, you know, people deserve a chance to change and improve. HGLRC used to put out pretty sketchy stuff that really I wouldn't feel comfortable relying on, but maybe they've changed their tune. Maybe they've gotten better. I don't know. Well, Patrick Ruane says the amount of never agains is notable, but I did kind of, I mean, I didn't give, nah, I'm all right as an option. So I kind of intentionally skewed it towards the edges. Either yes or never again. Not everybody maybe would have preferred never again. Maybe not everybody would have preferred yes. Anyway. Is 8-inch better than 7-inch? Ask my wife. Am I right? You know. Christian, I don't see a ton of people going 8-inch. 7-inch seems to be where the long-range cruiser larger quad petered out. You do see people doing 10-inch. It seems like people skipped right from 7-inch to 10-inch. I don't know if there's a good reason for that, but that seems to be where people are. There's 5, 6, 7-inch. 10-inch, not that popular, but like 8 and 9-inch is just like, oh, I can't even imagine anybody's doing it. And yeah, Anthony Short, good point. There's very few props available in 8-inch. I mean, you could get airplane props, but they're not a good choice for multi-rotors. So nobody is making 8-inch props, 9-inch props for multi-rotors. 9-inch, there's plenty of 9-inch props for multi-rotors, but those are more for camera drones than for like FPV cruisers and stuff. And then you get to the 10-inch size, and I forget the name that's been given to the 10-inch ones. There's a name for that class. Maybe somebody will tell me what it is. And then you get to 13 inches, which is the Beast class and X class builds. So I think there's not a ton of great 7-inch props, but they are out there. So 8-inch, 9-inch is very, very limited. Anton Filipstov, thank you for $2 super chat. Purchased the Beta FPV board. The micro USB port fell off. Yeah, you got to go back to whoever you bought it from and say this is unacceptable. Please give me another one, and hope that they agree. Private Island FPV. No, Curtis Jackson, thank you for a $2 super chat. Didn't want you to think I missed you there. Drew Graham wants me to help with the beep on the Beta 95X V2, but I don't know what problem you're having, Drew Graham. What's wrong with your beep? Dominic Clifton just mistyped clean flight as Clite flight. Drew Graham, I will help you. What problem are you having with your 95X? The beep. I need help with the beep. Help with my beeping. Is it beeping when you don't want it to beep? Or is it not beeping when you do want it to beep? Or is beep a code word for something inappropriate? What's going on, Drew? I'm waiting for you. The lag on the stream is making it worse. Drew still won't tell me about the beep. Any plan to review the Grep RC Crocodile Baby 4-inch? Heck yeah, Thomas. In fact, I have already recorded half the review. I got to do the flight testing. I have the Grep RC Baby Crocodile and the iFlight Chimera, and I will be doing reviews of them. I just am working on it. I haven't finished it yet. Are desyncs common on 7-inch plus quads? They shouldn't be. Desyncs should not be common. If they are common, your ESC or your motor, something isn't right. You should be able to handle it. I'm still looking for details about this beep. It won't beep. It shows it's activating, but I don't hear it. Okay, hang on. Drew Graham, hold on. Sit tight, man. This is the Beta FPV 95X. It's not the HD version because Beta FPV... They knew Beta FPV, I don't know this for a fact, but they were like, hey, should we send Bardwell the HD version with the Vista, or should we send him the analog version? He's just going to sit on it for 2 months and not review it anyway. Send him the analog version. Haha, they were right. I'm gonna give myself a bad impression. Because people who maybe don't know me as well are going to think I'm making light. I'm like making fun of, I'm taking for granted, whatever. I'm being disrespectful. It's supposed, I'm trying to plug in this USB port and failing. That joke is supposed to be a little bit self-effacing, that I feel bad. sometimes when I get a product and then for some reason or another, like I just have so much shit to do. And people are like, hey, you want to look at this? And I'm like, if you, I just want to say, if you send it to me, I will not have time to look at it unless it's like a really like Fat Shark's like, do you want us to send you Shark Bite? And I'm like, yes, I will definitely unbox that immediately. But like, yeah, here's another quadcopter. Want to see it? Maybe not. So, but I'm like, yeah, okay, I probably should take a look at it. And then it just takes me a while to get to things. And then I feel bad. So then I joke about it on stream. And then I look like a jerk because I look like I'm like just being really disrespectful of other people's stuff. So going back to this beeping problem. How do you make it beep? I'm going to need a battery. Crap. I'm going to need to get a battery. Hold on. It won't beep without a battery. Does it beep? I don't know, Drew. We're going to find out, man. You and me together, brother. Plug it in. Plug it in! All right. We'll go to the configuration tab. Now, this thing doesn't have a buzzer, so it won't beep. But if you go here to the, to the D-Shot beacon configuration and you enable RX Lost and RX Set, it will beep. When you go and you activate the modes, then the motors will beep. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't have a buzzer. But when you plug in, what makes that sound? I mean, what makes that sound? Do you know? It's the motors. The ESC uses the motor like a speaker coil and beeps it. So those options that I showed you in the configuration tab will cause the flight controller to use the motors to beep instead of the non-existent buzzer that you don't have. So that's what you need to do. Now, are you now going to tell me, I already did that, it doesn't work? Let's find out. How many times can I return broken GoPros to Best Buy? Asks Sea Salt. Here's the deal, Sea Salt. You can return them as many as you want. Oh, shit. Cricket's here. Cricket, I cannot think of a better time for you to show up, dude. Cricket. Sea Salt asks, how many times can I return broken GoPros to Best Buy? Cricket, you are the person in the world who is the most qualified to answer that question. Because Cricket has returned so many GoPros. Cricket, do you want to give us a number? Like this year, this month? He says he's returned hundreds of GoPros, and I believe it. Because I saw the pile of batteries, the stack, the practically the frickin' pyre of batteries, leftover GoPro batteries from all the GoPros he's bought and cracked. So here's the deal, though. Every time you return it, you cash the check on that insurance policy. So you buy the GoPro, you buy the insurance. The insurance costs $40. You break the GoPro, you bring it in, they give you a new GoPro, you don't have insurance anymore. You pay another $40. So basically every time you get a new GoPro with the insurance, you got to buy another policy and it's another $40. They don't always keep the battery wrong way. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. I actually had them frickin' say, one time, they said, we need to get the USB cable and the battery and all the accessories back. We're going to have to charge you $25. I was like, really? Anyway. Now, Cricket says sometimes he gets money back and doesn't pay. Here's the deal with that. I mean, in my experience, when you bring the GoPro back in, the employee will make a determination whether this is covered by GoPro's warranty or by the Best Buy insurance. So let's say you got a GoPro and there's a piece of dust inside the lens. That's GoPro's problem. You didn't do that. That's a warranty issue. If you bring back a GoPro and it is covered by a GoPro warranty, then your insurance does not cash in. They refund you the camera, they refund you the insurance, and you start over from scratch from zero. You don't lose any money. You just get a new camera and a new insurance policy for the same price. But if you come in with like you just smashed it, that's not a GoPro warranty, that's an insurance claim. So that's the difference. So it sounds like what Cricket's saying is, you know, the folks down at his Best Buy are generous with determining things to be a GoPro warranty. At least that's how I read it. Marley Leppo, thank you for 50 Norwegian kroner. Did you see the new AKK Nano Race VTX? It's the smallest analog VTX yet. No, but it's going to have to... there's some tiny VTXs out there. Let's look at this. The AKK Nano Race. How small is it? Oh, that's pretty small. That's pretty small. Like, it's barely big enough to hold the processor. But I got a 14 millimeter by 14 millimeter. Okay, let's see. Tramp Nano VTX. How big is the baby Tramp? Can I just have the dimensions? This is a 20 by 20. What's the actual dimensions of the frickin' thing? What's the actual dimensions of the thing? 18 by 13. Oh, it's bigger. Yeah, it's pretty small. It's pretty small. No doubt. Drew Graham! It worked! Drew Graham, it worked, my friend. It worked. I'm so glad I can help you out there, man. But he has the beeper. T. Simon, people in the Discord are talking about Shark Bite from Fat Shark. People are... So T. Simon says he wants DJI to have some competition. Here's the question, and I'm gonna ask this question, and I'm not gonna answer it. I'm gonna leave it to you to answer. When you look at Fat Shark's Shark Bite, and you look at what it is promised to be, I think you have to ask yourself, if it lives up to all of its promises, will it be better than DJI for you? And the reason I'm not going to answer this question is because there are people out there who say, I'm never buying DJI in my life. Well, you bring a certain value to it, to the situation. There are people out there who say, I really want the ability to use my existing goggles via HDMI input. SharkBite delivers that, DJI doesn't. But there are other axes like range and image quality where a lot of people are going to feel like DJI, even if SharkBite lives up to everything it has said it will be, that DJI will be the winner for them. Cricket says nope. A day at the range. A day at the range is just I gotta owe this guy something. Cricket, you're right. It depends a lot on price. Thank you for a $50 super chat a day at the range. No question. Just paid $50 to throw me a sticker. That's that sweet, sweet DJI payoff money. A day at the range says, if you could shout out the giveaway on my channel, 3 sets of DJI goggles. First winner picked November 10th, 2020. A day at the range, put a link to your channel in the chat. You're a moderator, so you can paste the link. Will you please put a link to your channel in the chat so people can go over there? Because I would think that you could get there just by clicking on your name or something, but I can't freaking find it. I'm sure that's a user error. Price is going to be a big factor there, no doubt. A day at the range, post the link though, dude. He's like, yeah, oh, there we go. So this is A Day at the Range's channel, and he is doing a giveaway of 3 DJI goggles. Where's the giveaway, dude? Mid-range DJI giveaway. So here's the flight where he is talking about his giveaway. This giveaway has nothing to do with me. I just want to say, A Day at the Range gave me a super chat and asked me to announce it. So for $50, I'll freaking announce it. But if this guy, does you wrong or something, don't come after me. I'm not saying he's gonna. I just don't want people to think I'm doing this giveaway. Bardwell said he would give away 3 sets of goggles, and he didn't. No, that is not what happened. Shut up. Day at the Range is giving away 3 sets of DJI FPV goggles. It's a freaking $1,500 giveaway, easy $1,800 giveaway. So, again, get that. All you people out there who doubted that he got paid off by DJI to not release the HDMI output, where else would he get this money? Oh. I can't imagine anywhere else. What's the most rugged all-in-one for a tiny whoop? Asks Dog Life. Dog Life. Here's the deal, dude. When you take an ESC and a flight controller and you stick them on one 30mm board, durability is not going to be fantastic. I'm not going to name names because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. It would be fine. I talked to a couple of people in the industry who have knowledge about the customer experience with Beta FPV and the JHE MCU all-in-one. And they said that it seemed like the Beta FPV was a little more solid. But it was tough to tell because they sold a lot more Beta FPV. And so it might just be the JHE MCU is a smaller sample size. But they were like, yeah, the Beta FPV is a little more consistent. So get the 30 amp. I mean, for a tiny whoop, you probably don't need 30 amps. But for a toothpick, you would want the 30 amp. Get the, I think the Betaflight all-in-one is the one that is going to be the least likely to die. Oh, someone finally noticed. Bobby Bags. Bobby Bags, you don't win anything, but congratulations for being the first person to call it out, at least that I saw. This is the Sky Zone, or the Eachine. The Eachine EV300O. I flew him today. I'm really looking forward to getting this review out. That's all I have to say. I'm seeing the outline of the menu OSD even after I arm. David Gregorian. David, that's an issue with the flight controller and the OSD chip. If the menu is left on for a long time, then sometimes it just seems to hang in there. I don't know what you can do to fix it though. I don't actually know. It just goes away after a minute, right? Mike Bergman says he's using the JHE MCU and it's ripping balls and holding up great. Yeah, the challenge with this kind of thing is that any one person could have a great experience, which is why I was happy to get the opportunity to talk to someone in the industry who had gone through a larger number in the hundreds of them and get a little bit more of a balanced perspective. And he said that the JHE MCU seemed good, like he knew a lot of people using it, but the Beta was the one that he felt he could trust more. One thing to keep in mind is that consistency, batch over batch, is a real challenge. So you'll get a company that comes along like JHE MCU, and I don't know who they are or where they came from, but they'll come out and they'll have the first or second batch is great. And then people will be like, "Ooh, this is a really good flight controller." And then they just can't keep it up. The quality drops for some reason. I'm not trying to call out JHE MCU, except that they're a newish vendor. And so one thing with Beta FPV, and I kind of laugh to hear myself say this, but Beta FPV, according to this person that I was talking to, has a fairly consistent quality level, batch over batch, which is funny because on some level people go Beta FPV, ugh, it's a little inconsistent with the quality, but there you go. Sorry about that. Impulse RC driver fixer or Zadig? Impulse RC driver fixer more than Zadig. If you're using Zadig and you don't know what you're doing, you can screw up your drivers. Beta FPV quality control is trash, says Toxic FPV. I know. I mean, I'm not 100% agreeing with you, but I know what you mean. You'll get like these great products out of them, and then like somebody will buy it and like the screws will be loose or there'll be some part missing, and you're like, what are you doing back there? Yeah. 661 FPV says beta FPV is actually good. Yeah. It's a little bit mixy, huh? Wrong Way FPV. What about this? Wrong Way FPV says, I flew DJI for the first time the other day. I could definitely notice the latency. And then T. Simon says, you should try it back to back. Yeah. If you fly DJI and you think you feel the latency, fly analog back to back with DJI. It could be placebo. Because the latency is right there staring you in the face. And you could really feel like you could really trick yourself. Dax Tassi FPV says, I've had good experiences with the JHE MCU, but beta FPV has been about 60-40. It's so hard to tease the signal for the noise there. Drew Graham, you about to get learned again, my friend. Drew Graham says, when I plug the Beta FPV 95X into Betaflight, the orientation of the Z-axis is never correct. Listen, how the flight controller, listen, think about it. Here's the quad. Here's your computer monitor. How can the computer know which way the quad is facing relative to the computer monitor? Oh, the compass. No. The compass tells it which way the quad is. First of all, it doesn't have a compass. But the compass tells it which way the quad is facing relative to the Earth. It still doesn't know where the computer monitor is. So the way it works is, when you plug in Betaflight, the 3D model always faces away into the screen, regardless of which direction the quad is pointing. The 3D model won't face the right direction. If you really care, point the quad at your screen and then plug it in, and then the 3D model will point the right direction. That's why there's a button to reset the Z-axis. That's exactly right, License to Drive. It would be awesome if there was a way to reset the Z-axis. That's what that button's for. Calabrese 221, on Crossfire, you always want cut as the failsafe mode, unless you're doing servos, like with a fixed wing. Whenever you're using a flight controller with Crossfire, you always want the failsafe to be cut. That's the short answer to your question, Calabrese. Synthetic, this is not an Insta360 mount. This is a naked GoPro with an Insta360 on top, because I wanted to fly both the naked GoPro and the Insta360 at the same time. That's what you're looking at there. Ray Donovan, thank you for a $5 super chat. What's your opinion of quad motors with built-in ESCs? Ray, I've seen these before a long time ago. I can't remember the name. There was a motor and the ESC was built into the base. And the motor just had a signal wire and two power wires coming out of it. I'm not a fan of it. I kind of don't see the point. And here's why. If you blow the ESC, now you got to replace the ESC and the motor. I don't think that the compactness is worth it. If it just makes it twice as expensive when you have to replace something. I'm sure there's a use for it, but I don't really see what it is. Not on our quads. See you later, Dominic. Have a good night, man. Thank you for coming out. Insta360 and DJI released teasers for new session-like cameras. MK, I know that Insta360 released a teaser, and I would never breach an embargo by revealing secret information, but the new Insta360 camera is not like a session, at least in a way that an FPV pilot would recognize. How could I know that? As far as DJI, I don't know. Drew Graham, no one's making fun of you, dude. Take it easy, man. Take it easy. It's all in good fun. Everybody, little ribbing, you know, little sarcasm, like, oh, if only there was a button that could do that. It's all in good fun, though. Nobody's making fun of you, dude. Nobody's making fun of you. Nobody should, yeah, no. License to Drive, I'm not sure if we're talking about the same product. Insta360's new teaser trailer, if they recorded at 25 FPS, that would suggest that they're talking about a new Insta360 Go. That's not the product that I definitely don't have and don't have an embargo on. I don't know anything about a new Insta360 Go. I have something else. I don't have something else. Drew Graham, don't take it like that. I really hope you don't take it like that. I appreciate you answering the questions. It is a privilege to be able to answer them for you. The worst thing that ruins my day when somebody asks a question and I'm like, I don't know. The best thing you could do for me is ask a question that I could easily answer. Then I don't have to work too hard, and you think I'm the smartest guy on the face of the earth, and you're happy because you solved your problem. That's a great interaction. People say, oh, I'm so sorry I bothered you with this easy question. Please ask me easy questions all day. Because I'll be like, ah, damn, I'm batting 1,000 today. Every single person who came up, I answered their question, didn't have to think twice, and they walked away satisfied. You come up and you ask me a hard question, I'm like, oh, crap, now I got to work. I might actually not know the answer. So never apologize for asking like a dumb question or a rookie question. Never, never, never. Oh, I see. Drew's just high. He's just high. He's super high right now, and he was getting self-conscious. Drew. They all know you're high, Drew. Jack, Bright Until I Fly, Jack is in the chat today. I went on his live stream, did a little bit with him. He interviewed me. We talked about some stuff. Jack, somebody sent me a stream you did. People send me stuff and they're like, you are not going to believe what happened. And I'm like, I don't care. I do not care what anybody says about me anywhere on the internet. I mean, I care a little bit, but I'm going to pretend I don't care. But this time I really didn't care. They linked me to this live stream with Jack. I think it was Jack, Konasty, Steele, and one other person who is, I'm not sure who it was, or I'm not remembering who it was. And somebody was like, yeah, I've been trying to get Bardwell to come on my stream or whatever. He's hard to get. And then Steele was like, why do you want Bardwell on your stream? And somebody like emailed this to me and we're like, you are not going to believe. I thought you guys were okay. I thought you guys were okay. And now he's talking. I'm like, I get this email and like, I thought you guys were okay, but you are not going to believe this is not okay what they said. And I click through and literally it's just still goes, why do you want Bardwell on your stream? That's it. That's the whole thing. I'm like, that's it? Is there more? I literally rewound it like 5 minutes to see if there was something else I had missed. Okay, so first of all, I'm incredibly entertaining. I pull you. You want me on your stream because I'm gonna pull views, motherfucker. All right, let's just be clear about that. And Jack was like, yeah, I mentioned it. You were like, oh, yeah, I mentioned it to him or something. So Jack, if there's somebody whose stream I should go on, you can reach out to me. I don't know what the deal is, but for you, Jack, just for you, just for you. That's interesting, bald man. Steele will ask blunt questions like that, but will really mean, why do you want Bardwell on your stream? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Is there a way to hold races with both analog pilots and DJI pilots without having the DJI pilots step on the analog guys? Yes, Rick Zapita. The way that is usually done, Rick, is they'll put the DJI pilots in their own heat. Now, if you don't have enough DJI pilots to put them all in their own heat, like you'd need at least 3 or 4 DJI pilots to put them in their own heat. Otherwise, it's going to be like one dude racing against himself. Then what you can do is put the DJI pilot on like DJI 6. DJI 6 is race 8. And DJI clobbers race 6 when it first powers up. So basically take race 6, 7, and 8 and don't use them. The DJI pilot is on DJI 6, which is race 8. And then you're going to use like race 1, 3, 5. And then you can get one DJI pilot in a heat of 4. That'll work. As long as he's got to be on 25 megabits per second. And he should be on 25 milliwatts. Wow. Angel FPV says, my Fusion has lines when in Fusion mode, but no lines in old school mode. That's backwards, Angel FPV. That's backwards. I would be contacting TBS support about that. It's Blunty's correcting me. DJI 6 is race 7? Is that right? He's probably right. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you. So, DJI 6 is race 7. That's my bad. I got that backwards. So you're going to want DJI 6 and 7. No, 8. Oh, no, I see. Because DJI is going to clobber race 6. I see. Yeah. I don't see any way around that. I guess you could theoretically leave the DJI pilot on channel 8. The public channel, but the problem is if any other DJI pilot powers up, he's going to get clobbered. So I would put DJI pilots on DJI 6 and 7 and leave race 6, 7, and 8 to them, and then have analog pilots on 1, 3, and 5. That's how it seems like it would break down. Thank you for the correction, Blenty. See you later, Jake FPV. Thanks for coming out, man. See you later, Glor FPV. Tyler Harris, thanks for $2 in the super chat. A Day at the Range, thanks for $10 more. The Day at the Range is single-handedly responsible for like half the super chats tonight. Chris Prucha, so Bardwell just needs Google to answer your questions? Yes, Chris. I do use Google to look up answers. That is true. What if you were on a desert island and you didn't have Google and you still needed to fly FPV? Then I would have bigger things to think about. You're not going to have a calculator in your pocket every day of your life. You need to learn trigonometry identities. What now, Mrs. Marbuckle? Why not just memorize everything? Yeah, good question, Siati. Why not just memorize everything? I'm a human. We use tools. We use technology. You can't charge packs on a desert island, blind FPV. Not with that attitude. I'd be building a frickin' bicycle charging packs. Calabrese 221 says the problem with cut, failsafe cut, on my long-range quad was it was set on cut, and I tested failsafe by turning off my transmitter. The motors never stopped. Is it trying to return to home? That's possible. That's possible. I mean, it's hard. You'd have to look in the configuration, but it's always cut. It's always cut. Cut is always the right answer with a multi-rotor. Is it possible that RPM filtering will eat up the battery? Asks Huff19. Or is my tuning just that bad? Well, I would never badmouth your tuning. RPM filtering shouldn't significantly affect battery life, though. Not in my opinion. What software is on your computer that you use for FPV that we have not listed yet? Asks Doghouse FPV. That's a good question, Doghouse. Let's go cruising around JB's hard drive. Not that folder. Don't look in that folder. The first place we'll go on my hard drive for FPV utilities is this folder in OneDrive called RC Utilities. What a coincidence. And this is, I put these, all of these guys do not have a dedicated installer. So I just unzip them into a folder on OneDrive. I don't think I'm going to need the Nirvana updater anymore. That can go. Let's see. What else we got? So PID Toolbox. That's a big one. PID Toolbox is great for analyzing black box logs. Immersion RC Ghost Updater. Impulse RC Driver Fixer, of course, is a big one. Zadig is here, but I don't use Zadig very much. I almost always use Impulse RC Driver Fixer, and it almost does the job. Every so often, I need to fix a driver that isn't a quadcopter-related driver, and I use Zadig, so I still keep it around. Xloader. That's the app that you use to flash the TrueD and some of the older modules. I haven't used that in a long time. In theory, I guess I could still find myself using it. Here's the KISS GUI, JESC configurator, iNav configurator. And again, you don't see Betaflight here because Betaflight has a dedicated installer. FreeSky firmware updater. Oh, this is the FreeSky PC flasher that it can flash. You can flash with pass-through through your flight controller. Flight 1, Falco X, BL Heli Suite, BL Heli Suite 32, and BL Heli Configurator, which is the BL Heli Chrome app, the BL Heli S Chrome app, although it's not a Chrome app anymore. Where's Emu Flight Configurator? Emu Flight Configurator has an installer, so it's over here in the Start menu. So Emu Flight Configurator's in the Start menu with Betaflight. Yeah, you look at you trying to get offended. Oh, but where's Emu Flight? Bardwell hates Emu Flight. Oh, why isn't Emu Flight there? I knew he couldn't hide it forever. It's in the Start menu. Take it easy. Let's see. What else? Let's see. What else? What other good related stuff? Jeez, why is Adobe Bridge Adobe Bridge 2019? Okay, Adobe, we got to clean this up. That's too much. I think that's almost all of it. I'm just going to cruise through here. The DJI Assistant for your DJI firmware updates. Why is Falco X in the Start menu and that's iffy. Maybe Flight 1. Oh, I see. The Falco X is in the Start menu, but Flight 1 is not. I have no idea what that is. Okay. That's about it. I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, Real Steady Go. That's a good one. Real Steady Go. TBS Agent X. That's a good one. There we go. All right. Oh, very good. T. Simon points out the black box sticks exporter from Bastian Sonderman. That is actually what I use to export my black box sticks from my black box overlays. Where's Fusion 360? Asks Big Data Pimp. It's there. It's totally there. I don't know why you didn't see it, but it's totally there. Dauntless H says, I need to shut off the gyro on a flight controller with a twitchy gyro for use on a fixed wing. How can I get rid of the gyro or even the PID loop? Dauntless, you can't really get rid of the gyro or the PID loop. That's what the whole flight controller is. If you just don't want any auto leveling, then just wire the servos direct to your receiver and use the flight controller only for the OSD. But don't actually wire the servos through the flight controller. You see what I'm talking about? That's what I would do. Pass-through. Yeah, pass-through. So if you have a receiver connected to a flight controller, the flight controller can do what's called serial pass-through. And basically, you can run a flashing app on your PC, and it will flash the receiver through USB through the flight controller. Naturally, I have a video about that. It's not my preferred way to flash. Oh, maybe you were asking about servo pass-through instead. BLHeli Configurator is not a Chrome app anymore, Bobby Bags. All of the Chrome apps have shut down. They're still available if you have a freaking, what's that? Chrome OS. What are those computers? Chromebooks. If you have a Chromebook, you can still use Chrome apps, but Chrome apps are no longer supported on Windows. They're still out there, don't get me wrong. They're just not being updated anymore. So there's a dedicated installer for them. Cement Kid, welcome to the chat, man. Got here just toward the end. Can't you just turn off the accelerometer? You can turn the accelerometer off, Quad Daddy. You cannot turn the gyro off. What's the ideal thrust to weight ratio for freestyle? Asks Jan Grudnicki. Pardon me for yawning, folks. Jan, I don't know the ideal thrust to weight ratio, and the reason is that I couldn't tell you reliably what thrust a specific motor and prop combo makes. I just don't spend a lot of time with my head in the weeds going, oh, this one makes 1,300 grams of thrust. And realistically, even if it makes that thrust on the bench, it's not going to make exactly the same performance in the air. I can tell you the weight for a freestyle quad. I feel like around 700 grams, somewhere between 700 and 800 grams, it gets bad. Like, I know that I don't like how an 800 gram freestyle quad flies. Now, there are other people who like how an 800 gram freestyle quad flies. Don't get me wrong. But for me, at 800 grams, you get short flight times. You get slow acceleration. You can't do flicky moves very easily. When I went from 800 down to 700, I did an 800 gram quad and a 700 gram quad back to back. Granted, they were not the exact same quad, so the power was different, but it was so different. If you want to feel that difference, you can easily just put a GoPro on or take a GoPro off your quad and feel the difference. And be careful, because you may go, oh, I like this, and you might hate your quad from there on. Now, I feel like the difference between 700 and 600 is worth striving for, but 600 gram 5-inch is challenging. You're going to get from 800 grams down to 700 grams, you just have to think a little bit and just don't gob it up with 3D printed garbage. Just buy a lighter frame, get a Vista instead of an Air unit. Just save yourself a little weight here and there, and you'll easily hit 700 grams with a GoPro. To get from 700 to 600, you have to work a lot harder. A lot harder. But once you fly it, you may feel like it's worth it. And then to get a 5-inch quad with a GoPro below 600 grams is damn near impossible, although it is doable. You just have to really work on it. Ken Heron, thank you for a $5 super chat. I've got the Ken Heron radio view here. His is better, though. His is better. This is my room, folks. Oh. That's right, Seattle. You just got to want it. 600 grams is totally doable, but you really got to, like, when I posted my Halo RC Osiris build, and it was 710 grams, and some people on Facebook were like, "Ha, that's not lightweight. Yeah, I can get it down to 600 grams." And I was like, "Oh, yeah?" And they were like, "Yeah, well, you start with a session instead of a Hero 7. And I'm like, "Oh, but I don't want to do that." That's it right there. That's why your quad is 700 grams instead of 600. They're like, and then you have to do a naked Vista, and you save 20 grams. And I'm like, I don't want to do a naked Vista. There you go. You just have to be willing to make the trade-offs. I need a lower third for the Ken Heron camera. What kind of a lower third would I put on it, Kyle? Like, what would I put down there? Blind FPV. That's a good eye, my friend. Is that a Ducky 1.2 Skyline keyboard? That is, in fact, a Ducky 1.2 Skyline with brown switches in it. That's so far we have identified the Corsair memory, and we have identified my exact keyboard. Remind me if I ever murder someone. Don't live stream with a murder weapon on my desk, because someone will notice. That's pretty impressive, dude. I'm impressed. AK Drone Flyer wants to know, are the new trade war Chinese technology export restrictions set to go into effect on November 1st going to impact DJI and other FPV suppliers? I have no idea. Especially because it's dangerous to talk politics on this live stream, so I'm going to be very careful what I say and try to keep it friendly and not piss off anybody. But I've noticed a trend where the president will make some threat, barrel at it, and then at the last minute he'll be like, I changed my mind. That just seems to be a negotiating tactic that he likes to use. And he'll go right down to the wire with it. And then at the last minute, he'll be like, we figured it out. We're not doing that. So these trade war Chinese technology export restrictions set to go into effect on November 1st. If they're an executive order, I mean, until it's literally midnight November 1st or whatever, I'm not actually sure it's going to happen. So I don't know. I have no idea whether it's safe to wait for Black Friday or Cyber Monday sales to order DJI FPV. I mean, what makes you think they're ever going to be on sale? JR Knott says, I hear the DJI goggles V2 will have video out. Any comments on this? I don't know. I mean, I assume that eventually DJI will release another goggles. I have not heard any rumors about that. Okay? I haven't heard any rumors about that. I don't know anything. I mean, video out would be nice. I can tell you this. The reason that the current goggles don't do HDMI out is because they lack a piece of hardware that is necessary to do direct HDMI out. So they have to do a USB data stream that is then converted to HDMI by an external box. So they're not doing it now for hardware reasons. Jakester, they had a Father's Day sale where they were really marked down. But I don't know why they did it then and if they'll do it again. Mars FPV, thank you for $5 Australian. I live in Australia and I fly with the DJI system. I've done the FCC hack and I'm getting 50 megabit per second, but I'm not getting all 8 channels. Mars, I have good news for you. Your system is working as intended. You didn't do anything wrong. When you're in 50 meg mode, there's only 3 channels. That's the answer. There's only 3 channels in 50 meg mode. Where's the frickin'... There it is. There's the... No. So if we look at this channel chart from 507RC, the 50 meg has channel 1, 2, and 3. 25 meg has 8 channels. That's the answer. Oh, Family Guyver says, my Flywoo LR wants to take off on its own with a crazy vibration until I disarm. Happened after a failsafe. What should I check? Family Guyver, what you're describing is a gyro problem that's resulting in like it trying to run away. Either you cracked the frame or maybe you broke a standoff, a flight controller standoff, or the gyro on the standoff is damaged. So check the frame very carefully for cracks or damage, but then if it's not that, replace the flight controller. 661 FPV says, JB, do you have the TBS Mambo? I don't know what the TBS Mambo is. I can confirm that I do not have anything that I know to be called a TBS Mambo. I think the Mambo is rumored to be the full-size controller. There's the Tango and the Mambo, see? I don't know anything about that. It is the Logitech G502 Hero. That is correct. We've identified one more piece of tech on my desk. That is correct. Do you need a module for the DJI goggles or is it built in? It is built in, Steve King. It's built in the goggles. Where should I get a Hero 7 on Black Friday? I have no idea. Best Buy, Walmart, whatever, right? Yeah. Prince Cord says if I install a triangular flight controller and mount it in a rectangular mount, what adjustments would I need to make? Prince Cord, you'll need to make sure that the board alignment works correctly. So you'll need 45 degrees of yaw alignment. That's which is it plus 45 or minus 45? I'm not sure. Oh, finally, Aussie Caner guessed wrong. Boo! You are going to feel so dumb. That is not the Rode Podcaster mic, Aussie. That's the Rode NT USB. Finally, someone got it wrong. You're close. It's the NT USB. Have I drawn the Patreon giveaway winners? I have not. Is it? Hang on a second. Is it time to do that? Have I drawn the Patreon giveaway winners? When does the Patreon giveaway end? I honestly, it's Monday. So like on the weekend, I think about live streaming and there are some other things I do on the weekend, but I don't actually so much think about this. When was the giveaway? When does the giveaway end? No, that's not it. Patrons giveaway, October 2020. What's the cutoff date? The cutoff date is October 18th. It is the 19th. Damn it. I like nothing more than when people bug me about the giveaway winners and the date hasn't passed. Sean Oates says, I'm almost at the end of the CL1 build kit. I'm stuck on the camera. Do I need goggles to finish the setup for OSD? Sean, you don't technically need goggles to set up the OSD, but it is nice to see what you're doing in the goggles. Sometimes, like, there's an issue where the goggle doesn't quite match up with the configurator, and seeing the goggles is certainly worth it. It is about 8 minutes to the end of the hour. I will be finishing up my stream at 10 p.m. and Ahren Ciotti, AHRENCIOTTI. People email me and say, what's this Ciotti guy's channel? And first thing I say is he posts the link in the stream all the time. But also his name is, you should see Ciotti, how they misspell your name. I'm sure you're familiar. Ciotti's going to be streaming on his channel at 10. Ciotti would love to have your support. I'd love to have you watch his stream. Micro Brushless Monday Ultimate Freestyle HD build. Ciotti is going to be building another quadcopter that he will send to me. Ciotti, I hate to tell you this, man, but stuff just sits on the shelf for months. No, I'll fly your quad. Ciotti built a quad on his live stream and sent it to me. Now I'm going to try it out, see what's what. He's going to be streaming at 10. If you guys cannot bring yourself to tear yourself away from the amazing fun and entertainment of live streaming, then you can watch him stream. But I got about 7 more minutes. Ty McBroom, thank you for a $10 super chat. I just got my first FPV quad. You just have to write your FAA number on it. Ty, I'm going to assume you're not a 107 operator. You need to have your FAA number. You need one FAA number for all your quads. Assuming it's over 250 grams, you do have to have the number on it, according to the law, which James Goodrich wants to know about the Spectrum NX series. Well, I don't fly Spectrum, dude. I don't fly Spectrum, so I don't know what you expect me to say about this. It's $500 for a 10-channel transmitter. Get wrecked. Spectrum is not making controllers for FPV pilots. This is ridiculous. Here's the thing. Oh, wrong camera. Sorry. Rotorite did a sponsored episode out at Horizon Hobby, and I'm gonna rant a little bit about Horizon Hobby and Spectrum as a company. I do want to say there are people out there who love FPV and really want to get FPV. They're trying, but Horizon Hobby is a huge company. It is a huge company, and there are too many. It's hard to turn a ship. And here's the thing: they make all their money selling radios to fixed wing guys. And if you think about the business model, think about people who got into FPV in the last 5 years don't know this. Maybe you don't. The way that transmitters used to be sold is the cheap one was a 6-channel. The more expensive one was an 8-channel. Then a 10-channel, then a 12-channel, then a 16-channel. Whoa! Vince McMahon face, right? And the more expensive radios also had upgraded hardware and additional features, like some of them had 3 mixer lines, and some would let you have 5 mixer lines. Some had Elevon mixing built in. Ooh, really? And then freaking China came along and said, here's a freaking $60 radio. It's got 16 channels and it's completely programmable. OpenTX. Boom. And this whole idea, oh, why does this radio only have 10 channels? It is 100% marketing. The radio could support more channels. We know that it can support, Spectrum can do 16 channels. But the problem is this. If they come out with a radio that competes with a FreeSky, a radio that has 16 channels, unlimited mixers, whatever, and it costs $200, everybody who paid $1,300 or whatever to get a 16 channel whatever is going to be like, why did I do that? I could have just spent $200. And the problem is that they will undermine their fixed wing market, who has learned and been trained over the course of 30 plus years that expensive radios have more channels and cheap radios have fewer channels, and that's how it is. And that's why this is a $500 radio with 10 channels, and it's an insult. It's an insult. Because this might be a $500 radio. Spectrum makes amazing hardware. No question. This might be a $500 radio, but there is no reason for it to be a $500 radio with 10 channels. That is purely marketing, and it just feels like a slap in the face. And when we were out there, we talked to some of the people there who also love FPV, and we were like, listen, you guys, like, not that you really asked, but if you want Spectrum to be more represented in FPV, you got to get a freaking $200 radio, and it's got to have like at least 8 channels. You can't freaking sell a 6-channel radio for $300. And they were like, yeah, we know. But what went unsaid is, if we do that, we got this humongous cash cow of old guys flying fixed wing. I don't mean that in a disparaging way. It's just a fact. Old guys have a lot of money, and a lot of the people who fly fixed wing are old guys. I say that. I'm 45 years old. I'm working up on being an old guy, so please don't get offended. They have this gigantic cash cow of old guys flying fixed wings who have spent $800, $900, $1,200, $1,300, $1,500 on their frickin' radios, and they cannot put out a FPV radio without undermining all of that. No, Kyle K, that's exactly backwards, in my humble opinion. Kyle K says, for FPV, they should hold back on the features we don't need. Mixers, don't need them. Heli Swash, don't need them. No, Kyle, you're missing the point. The software features are free. It costs them nothing. Excuse me. It costs them nothing to give you a radio with 30 mixers. All the radios have the same dang hardware in them. The software features are free. They lock out the software features as a way of differentiating the market, and that's the insulting part. You don't want to give me a radio with super expensive CNC gimbals? I get that. They cost money. There's no reason to limit the software features arbitrarily, except that they have a market of people who have been trained for years and years and years that that's how radios work. It didn't used to be this way. It used to be that if you wanted more channels, you needed, like, I don't know, better radios. But it's not true anymore. When you went to digital spread spectrum, the only limitation on the number of channels is software. Anyway. Well, thank you for that. Can you flash another firmware on it to unlock it? Not on a Spectrum radio. No, I don't think so. Yep, Rain Dog's data logs. That is an archaic 1990s software market strategy, but their customers are people who grew up buying radios in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and there are a whole lot of them, and they got a whole lot of money, and it is rational for Horizon Hobby to do what they are doing. They are making not as much money as they used to, but they're making a lot of money, and it's a classic conundrum. In order to move to something else, they have to move away. They should launch another brand. What they should, I don't know, like launch another brand. Don't call it Spectrum. And then these guys will look at it and go, oh, it's sucky. They won't be mad. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much. That was a good little rant to end the stream on. Thank you so much for asking that question. Day at the range, thanks for $5. Good night, man. It's going to do it. Ciati, I've gone 1 minute over. I hope you had time to poop. I will see you guys throughout the week. This week, something new from TBS that will change my opinion about the TBS Tango in a very meaningful way. That is not clickbait. That's a fact. That's coming this week. Also, my review of the Eachine EV300O. Is it truly an HDO killer? Well, It might. You have to stick around. Watch the channel. Good night, everybody. Happy flying.